Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to decode the absolute fundamental unit of life. Seriously, whether you're studying for a big biology exam or you're just kind of curious about how the natural world actually operates, uncovering these tiny microscopic details will completely change the way you look at everyday life. So let's jump right in.
All right, quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll start by exploring the bustling city of life, then take a quick tour of the cell structures, look at some real-world cell biology, and finally wrap up with what all this means for your future in science. Let's get to it.
Okay, part 1, the bustling city of life. So, I want you to imagine a massive, sprawling city. You've got a town hall making all the big decisions, power plants keeping the lights on, huge factories manufacturing goods, and sturdy walls all around keeping the citizens safe from outside threats. If you can picture that setup, you basically already understand the core architecture of biology. It's the exact same logic. Because here's the crazy part. Whether we're talking about the green grass out in your front yard or, the person sitting right next to you, you are literally looking at trillions of these independent, bustling little cities. That is what a cell is. It's the fundamental unit. If we can just understand how one of these microscopic building blocks survives, we basically crack the code on how massive, complex organisms, including ourselves, grow and thrive.
Moving right along to part 2, touring the cell's structures.
Now, what's really cool about this city metaphor is how it perfectly sets you up for those tricky match-the-following questions on your exams. Think of the nucleus as your town hall. It holds the master blueprint, the DNA. The cell membrane? That's your security gate, letting vital nutrients like glucose inside while totally blocking out waste. The mitochondria are the power stations, converting oxygen and food into pure energy. And the ribosomes are those manufacturing plants we mentioned, busy building the proteins that actually make up your muscles.
But it's not enough to just build things in a city, you've got to ship them. Enter the Golgi apparatus. This is basically the cell's post office, modifying and packaging those proteins into little vesicles. And how do they travel around? Along the endoplasmic reticulum, which acts as a transport network of highways and conveyor belts. And of course, every city produces trash, right? That's where the lysosomes come in. They are your critical waste management system, acting like garbage trucks that use specialized enzymes to break down old parts and keep the whole environment clean. Now let's mix it up and compare plant and animal cells. Since plants don't eat food or have skeletons like we do, their cellular cities need some pretty specialized gear. They've got chloroplasts. Think of those as solar panels catching sunlight. Without them, we literally have no veggies to eat or oxygen to breathe. They also rely on these massive vacuoles, which are basically giant storage warehouses for water. And to keep the plant standing upright without any bones, they have a super rigid, sturdy cell wall made of a tough material called cellulose. All right, let's look at part 3, real-world cell biology. Okay, we've all seen this classic kitchen mystery. You've got some limp, sad-looking carrots or celery sitting on the counter, but you toss them in a bowl of cold water, and within an hour, they are magically crunchy again. Why does that happen? Well, the answer is a perfect demonstration of cellular mechanics in action. It's all about what we call the crispy salad secret. When you soak that wilted veggie, water rapidly rushes into the plant cells and completely fills up those central vacuoles, those storage warehouses we just talked about. As they expand, they push super hard against that tough cellulose cell wall. This physical action creates what biologists call turgor pressure, and that internal pressure is the exact biological mechanism behind the satisfying crunch of a fresh vegetable. Or think about this everyday scenario. You're sprinting to catch a bus, or maybe you're playing sports at school. You start breathing really heavy and feeling super hot. Well, that heat isn't just you being tired. Your internal power stations, the mitochondria, are literally working overtime. They're rapidly consuming the oxygen you're breathing in to convert stored nutrients into cellular energy. The physical heat you feel radiating off your body is just a direct byproduct of that exact physiological process. And what about when you scrape your knee? A week later, fresh skin just magically appears? Only it's not magic. It's a step-by-step sequence directed straight from the town hall. First, the nucleus reads the DNA instruction manual. Then, it triggers this process called mitosis, basically telling the cell to divide. Finally, the cell copies itself, laying down new, healthy skin to perfectly repair the damage. Honestly, once you grasp these structures, you start seeing them everywhere. Somebody sprays perfume and you smell it across the room? That's simple diffusion, molecules moving from high to low concentration. A tall sunflower standing perfectly straight without a skeleton. That's the mechanical support of millions of cell walls at work. Even the clear, jelly-like white of a raw egg perfectly mimics a cell's cytoplasm. And if you leave milk out in 35-degree heat and it clumps up, that degradation mirrors the exact way our lysosomes use enzymes to digest unwanted garbage. It's everywhere. Finally, let's hit part 4, your future in science. For all of you aiming to ace your academics, mastering this structural logic is an absolute game changer. It is the core foundation for competitive exams like MEET, BITSAT, ICER, and NEST. Exam boards absolutely love testing this, especially your reasoning on how a cell's security gates might react to different salt concentrations. Mastering these concepts means you are banking some serious, high-value marks. But it goes way beyond just passing tests. This is literally the starting point for some of the most prestigious scientific careers in the world. Want to be a doctor? Your ability to treat patients comes down to knowing what's going wrong inside these cells. A geneticist? You'll be decoding that nuclear control center every single day to develop vaccines. Or maybe you want to be a bioengineer. You could be the one mastering the mitochondrial engine to cure cancer or engineering resilient supercrops to solve global food security. Your entire career will rely on these microscopic building blocks. So the next time you hear that satisfying crunch of a fresh salad or feel the burn in your muscles after a run, take a second to picture those bustling little cellular cities working away inside you. There is a massive micro-world all around us, just waiting to be decoded. So what fascinating micro-world will you observe next? Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.